Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 336. Let's see what shows up. Alright, so got a little Callista, some Lulu, and some Malphite. And so, as usual, as far as these go, if you just want to shoot for your 7, I would say chase down the Callista here. But here, I feel like we can chase down this Malphite. It's been a while since we put him together. We haven't really drafted Malphite since the initial release of the set. And so the way I kind of like to approach him, and it's a nice little start with the Blue Sentinel, is, he's going to be a landmark deck. You don't have to, like, really dedicate yourself to it too heavily, but, if you're wanting to flip your Malphite, you're going to have to play some amount of landmarks. And, in general, there's two ways that I look at the landmarks these days. I feel like there's kind of like two distinct decks that have come out of the landmark archetype up to this point. There's one style, which I kind of call the countdown style, the advance your countdown, if you will, where you're trying to pair up Shurima with Freylord and then get Rock Bears and get Frozen Thralls on the board and play the countdown reducers on them to get them onto the board faster. I don't think it's a very good deck, but it is a deck in general. It's a strategy you can pursue. In my opinion, it's better than just playing the good card strategy, which I'm a humongous non-fan of. And so, it's one thing you can go, you're trying to get, again, those, rock bears and then ways to make them come into play faster. The other one is just, I don't have a better term for it than kind of like value landmarks, but in the sense that, we're not going to really play the countdown cards. We're going to look to play things like Blue Sentinel that, this last breath and puts a landmark on the board. We're going to look to play Rockhopper. He comes into play, reasonably statted unit, puts a landmark on the board. We look at a card like the Preservarium, replaces itself +1. There's things like the Eye of Rahor Rock, which is the big one with Malphite, give you those 4 stuns over 2 turns. And so we aren't really looking to, generate units. We're just trying to get some incidental landmarks or some landmarks for free. Like if we play I can never remember the name of the card, but it's the 3 mana spell that puts 2 Roiling Sands on the board and you draw a card, so it comes down and replaces itself. And so it's very much in the same line with the theme that we look at with Lee Sin, where with Lee Sin, we don't want to play a Twin Disciplines and another combat trick on the same turn. We're looking to, say, play Sonic Wave, which is 2 spells out of 1 card. We're looking to play like a Key Guardian and another spell, so we're just playing net 1 spell per turn. And I look at the Malphite pools in a very similar way. So we'll see what turns out here. Otherwise, with this Geomancy card pool, we still haven't seen the pools yet. To the best of my knowledge, Riot hasn't updated the old spreadsheet, but it has a ton of invokes in here, and so we can also look to perhaps piece together an invoke deck. Okay, and then yeah, with the way that these have fallen out with the pickup of Taliyah, looks like we're just gonna piece ourselves into a landmarks-based deck. I don't think we get too much value out of any of these other card pools. Like Shield Wall Shen does not play well with Targon in any way, shape, or form. There's no units that we're like really stoked to try and give barrier to over and over again. Things like Fuzzy Caretaker and Horns of the Dragon don't quite have the combos we're looking for. We could probably find Zenith Blades for Horns of the Dragon, but that's kind of a stretch as far as piecing together a cohesive deck. And then kind of similar here with Scrap Heap Jinx, you're trying to empty your hand out as quickly as you can. You're trying to get value out of discarding cards from your hand. It's just not a theme that we see here in Targon. So it is going to lead us over here to this Taliyah. I do not like the Incubators card pool. This does, the two things. It tries to use the advance ability, like we can see on Time in a Bottle, to get the landmarks into play quicker, and then it has this predict theme, which I don't feel like is really fleshed out enough to really consider to be a deck. And so there are some positives here. We do want to be finding Rockhoppers. Having things like Kahiri the Student come down as a 4/4 is a pretty good deal. There's some okay-ish value units here. I just really don't want to end up with a deck that has a bunch of Rock Bears in it. That's kind of my big peeve with this, is I don't think that they're very good. But, pretty top-notch Geomancy pack here. Blue Sentinel is the premier 2-drop, and then Rockfall Path, again, as far as these value landmarks go, having the removal spell out of Rockfall Path is very good. Also, very good at sniping off Azirs these days, as everyone has kind of had their fill of the Azir tokens deck. I don't think it's that bad, but you know, people don't like it. Rockfall Path is very good at sniping off one attack units, and so it's good in that sense. Otherwise, you know, a very strong, just good cards pack down here with the Zenith Blade Eclipse Dragon, but we have on theme cards, so we're going to skip it. And then I do like the Preservationist, even in decks that aren't, you know, 100% like Rock Bear focused, but you know, we have just again such a strong pack over here to be taking. Okay, interesting set. So we don't want to draft Freylord. We can ignore this quickly. So that leaves us with the 2 packs. We do have the Rockhopper down here, but I think the Sunburst is just a little bit too good. We do tend to run into like a handful of curve problems with this style of deck, but so I'm not like really amped about the White Flame Protector. We're probably going to have some combination of like 2 Malphites and 2 Taliyahs. And so it's, you know, we're planning on having some more expensive cards here, but I think our first Sunburst is way more important than our first Rockhopper, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up. Okay, and then interesting little set. This is where you start to run into the problems with these decks, and that Time in a Bottle is garbage. Crystal Ibex is not like complete garbage. He's just kind of like, you know, I don't know, we're putting him in the recycle bin instead of the and just instead of the general garbage bin. He's a little bit higher than that. I don't know, maybe he goes in the compost heap and gives us a little bit of hope for the future. But we also have Xenotype Researchers down here, which is just an absolutely fantastic card. Just picking up 1 unit with this is so incredibly powerful, and so I'm leaning on taking it. But again, Imagined Possibilities is quite a garbage card. But you know, if it comes to taking, like, you know, if we're going to ignore this middle pack, the Priestess is good, but it doesn't play onto our landmark theme. So if we're getting stuck with, you know, Imagined Possibilities and Time in a Bottle either way, then I do want to just come in and take the Researchers. I wish we could make this swap. Like, if we could trade the Time in a Bottle for this Imagined Possibilities, so we pick up the Predict card with the other Predict card, that would be kind of cool, but not the way the game works, am I right? So at least here, you know, this is a good way to be picking up our Solari Priestesses. Again, it was weird seeing all of these Malphite card pools have all these invokes in it. Maybe that's just something that he's down with. That's his thing. But Solari Priestess with Earth Elemental is a very good mid-rangey style play. And these other packs contain a lot of turds. Stellacorn's a turd. Imagine Possibilities is a turd. Ancient Hourglass is okay. It's just not a card I'm like gonna go out of my way to find. It feels kind of like about as much as I want Deny is about as much as I want that card. So here, I think we're going to continue taking the Xenotype Researchers. Like, I don't like the Rock Bear, but I do really like the Researchers. This card is incredibly powerful. Again, just drawing a 3/3 for 3 is like right on point as far as your mana curve is concerned, and then just drawing 1 of these cards is so huge. It's not nearly as good as like having, you know, Avarosian Outriders and knowing that you're going to get the card almost immediately, but you know, this is still a pretty powerful effect I'm glad to have. Again, I think people have kind of figured out that Soothsayer was garbage. This is one of these things I've been preaching since the release of the set. There's always these cards that like show up on Reddit that people get like super attached to. The big one I remember is like, it's a different game, but from Hearthstone, there was like the random priest card that like makes a card, make your opponent like reveal a card from their hand every turn of the game, and then it can like turn into that card or something. It was just complete trash, but like Reddit ate onto that so much. Like, oh, you get so much information, you get to outplay your opponent so hard. It's like, no, you didn't. No, you fucking don't. That card's trash. Just get that out of here. Much the same way with the Soothsayer, giving your allies and stuff spell shield, not that huge of a deal. But you know, these researchers are who we're taking here. All right. So here, man, speaking of turds, we've been talking a lot about garbage in this draft. These are not good cards. We're not going to have any way to take advantage of Out of the Way, so we can let that one go. Ricochet is a trash removal spell. I don't like playing Payday unless we've got Sivers, and so, I mean, at least these units down here, the Spring Guardian's a 3/3 for 3, has a ability attached to it, and so I think that's just kind of what we're stuck taking here. All right, well, we're on board with the Xenotype Researchers. This is just what we're doing this game. All of these other cards down here are fairly weak. We don't want to play Divergent Paths ever. Soldier is fine, but it's off theme. But our third Researcher is not bad. You know, we're going to make something happen with that. Okay, and this is a very easy Challenger pack to the right. Exhaust and Merciless Hunter are both the premier removal spells coming out of Shurima. That's a very easy take. And so, as we stand here, the only problems we really have are our mana curve. The early part of our curve is pretty terrible. We do need to pick up some more early game plays. I was really hoping to pick up some chips and some rock hoppers, but those cards just haven't shown up. So hopefully we can kind of like course correct as the trial goes on, and we get to pick up some chips and some rock hoppers to solidify our early game. But it's looking pretty bad there now. We do look to be more of along the lines of like a mid-rangey style of deck. With all of these Xenotype Researchers, and then our top end should be okay. We can just start slotting in Malphites as we need to make our top end work. But with these, this one's kind of tough. Like out of all of these cards, I want the Lunari Priestess. Sandswept Tomb does not play well in this style of deck. Moonshaping Stardreamer is a pretty powerful set of cards, which we're gonna take here, but we don't have like the combos for the Naturalist to be good, and I really don't like Saltspire. I guess we could take Saltspire. We need some amount of landmarks just to make sure that we can get our Malphite flipped. I usually just want to have Eye of Raharok, but maybe we take the Saltspire here. We do have the means to just get some random landmarks to get with the Naturalist. Fine. You know what? Fine. Okay. Here comes the Moondreamer Star Shaping to say, nah, man, but correct your mistakes. Come and pick us. So let's take that one. Okay, then interesting set. We have the two, earlier gameplays in the Curator Kahiri, and then we also have Chip. I don't like Ancient Preparations. All I feel like we ever get out of Ancient Preparations is like a predict, and then we want to blow it up with Desert Naturalist. And I would be like kind of okay with this line if we're gonna be trying to say like, all right, well, let's play the researchers and then start predicting as fast as we can. But it's just like if we're gonna start the predicting and then use Ancient Preparations, chain that into Desert Naturalist, it's a maybe. I'll give that a maybe. It's as good as I'm gonna give it. But this one's close. I think this has probably been the closest pick of the trial. We probably should pick up the preparations in the chip. I think we're good on our 3-drop stack as it is now, between having all of the researchers and this random Spring Guardian. And so I want to pick up the earlier plays. Okay, another interesting one. Just Divergent Paths is such a trash card, but it comes with the Blue Sentinel, and I think that's who we're looking to take here. So, such an unfortunate set. Okay, for our last choice, cool, we can get rid of Time in a Bottle. That works perfectly. Pick up one of these premier late game cards and get rid of some garbage. Just Malphite, the trash collector, just soaking up all the horrible landmarks and trying to make the best of it. Alrighty, but you all know what time it is. We got to make something premium. I think we're running out of units. Yeah, there's nothing here, so we're gonna have to go and level up a spell. Trying to think. Oh man, are we gonna have to do Divergent Paths in this trial? We just talked a lot of trash about this, but I think this is the only card in our deck. I don't think we drafted any Weight of Judgments, and so. All right, well here's your time to shine, Divergent Paths. We're counting on you to really put in some work this game. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean, it's came together okay. Our late game seems fine now. We picked up the Star Shaping, we picked up the Lunari Priestess. We can always still pick up a second Malphite, although I am intending on us being a probably a Taliyah-based deck. We did have the Weight of Judgment, I forgot, but we'll see how that shakes out. Just, I'm not a huge fan of Taliyah. Don't have a lot of cards in here that we can really come out and copy. What was this, Jinxheimer? Okay, sure. A little bit aggressive, a little bit control. Yeah, no picking and choosing today. You're trying to get the best of both worlds. Right, let's get these researchers going.
What do you make of that? I'm not sure. Have a mushroom.
Got to get all the stats into our deck. And with this, I mean, I guess he plans on getting some value out of the Puffcat Peddler. In my mind, I would see him just like wanting to trade this away, but I mean, I get having the ignitions and such and not immediately diving on that. That's weird. This doesn't... 3 random allies, I thought. Then we just immediately drew the random ally.
I'll make a note.
Sure. We're about to Excuse me, we're about to get a mountain of stats on the board, so I think this is looking pretty good. Just a monster Kahiri. I think I still want to chase down the priestess, but we've been drawing these boosted units so fast.
Jinx? Stands for Jinx.
Alright, none of these are removal spells. That's the quick piece of analysis on this board. I think we're okay just to take Moonsilver. Cheapen something up. You know, he's going to keep trying to get out ahead of us here. I think this is fine.
Can you improve perfection?
Takes up to 8 puff caps, it's okay.
Fire till nothing moves.
Look at this. Ready.
Okay. Really protecting this puff cap peddler. Sure.
At work.
Safety is
See if he opens on us. This Moondreamer could be slightly scary for him. We don't have to like immediately try to ace this Jinx. He's nowhere near getting her to flip.
And I'll do the
Do have to ace a Heimerdinger though.
I see we're using technical terms.
But after this goes, I'm pretty okay with just like Moonsilver and Kahiri down now. And then we're just gonna have a ton of big old dudes down here.
Can you improve perfection?
No way he expects to see opponent with 2 mana just dropping a 6/6 onto the board. No way.
I'm ready.
Say what up, check my stats.
Prime and ready.
speak truth.
Yeah, start giving up something here. I just think he's how much he's protected the puff cap peddler. I assume he's just gonna put the ballistic bot in front of the priestess. Oh. Okay.
Got me.
Can you improve perfection?
Okay, let's see what he does. I mean, I feel like we're probably at the point now where we're just gonna have to like Weight of Judgment this ballistic bot. Shuts down a lot of what he's trying to do here. He's just gonna try and burn us out. Makes sense. Only add about a damage a turn of puff caps, but I have to assume if he's throwing aftershocks to our face like right now, that we're gonna at least have another 3 damage out of his hand. Alright, double Earth Elemental's looking okay-ish on this board.
I need just a moment.
Assume it's just gonna take down a rock bear or something. Alright. I'll show it all. All my cards are on the table.
For glory. You're mine.
Interesting. Assumed you'd go for the big attack and not the overwhelm, but
Remember me.
pretty far away from activating the Earth Elementals here. Okay, then let's go ahead and Moondreamer. We could hit a removal spell or something that would be of use. Do not,
What do you
but
see from your lofty perch?
The vault of heaven drawn.
it's just
in twinkling
as imagining if we hit like a
slash dash.
if we hit a Crescent Strike or a Meteor Shower, then we'd have potential to take 2 blockers off of the board. I think we're still okay here. He needs a double removal spell to clean this up. Oh, good, good. Let's see what we can pick up here. And so these just like, oh, do we just want to take Aphelios as our late game? No, this is a fine Malphite. I don't think we ever really want 3 copies of Malphite. His flip isn't that good and he's very expensive. But Rockhopper is the big card we're looking for here, and this is a pretty weak Taliyah in general. So I'm fine enough to take the second Malphite. invokes and such to make him kind of okay as our only piece of top end. Okay. Taliyah, Leona, and Soraka. Not a real big indication as to what opponent's trying to do here. But we'll keep our removal spell in Blue Sentinel, and I was looking for the Xenotype Researchers. So that was a pretty nice little pickup here. That's going to be our card we're looking to play on the third turn, essentially every game of the trial. A random landmark with countdown, or advance your landmarks one.
The journey is difficult. These will protect you.
Uh-oh. He pulled the old bust play and missed his attack. He got excited. He saw FTP bust down there. Skipped over the attack. Happens. Sure.
What do you make of that? I'm not sure.
There's nothing. Just have a really awkward hand. And get rolling with these earth elementals. We can. He does nothing, and then we can answer his turn 4 play with an exhaust. It's going to be extremely challenging for opponent to come back.
Shining gifts from the sky.
Okay. We can't kill this. But do we want to just say, like, put a blue sentinel in front of it? Because I do want to keep attacking here. And we can just negate the whole lifesteal. Or do we just slow it down and pass and then save, like, the exhaust and weight of judgment for real units? I think that sounds a little bit better. I don't think we're in a real big hurry here. Pumping all these stats into our deck.
Would you look at this place?
Sapphire, gem of our divine patron.
Radiant strikes.
This is where we want to stand our ground. We have to block one of these, so I'm ready to go ahead and just do this. We can take the hit from the Protector. Weight of Judgment. I think this is good. Extra crystal next turn. Okay.
That's new. You're
Maybe we'll draw
provoking
Big
it.
Boy while we're at it. If we draw a Big Boy, then we can just take down the Protector with the exhaust and hang on to our Weight of Judgment a little bit longer. Draw the biggest of boys. Okay.
I don't remember that crag.
Yeah, I don't think we have. It's so hard to flip him without having the Eye of Raharok in your deck. Just to play the 5-cost landmark and Daybreak it into the second one, so you put 10 mana worth of landmarks onto your Malphite. But making some magic happen here. This is going to drop him down to 5 mana.
May all who receive your gift use it well.
If only they saw it as you do, for what it truly is.
Okay, so let's do it like this. All this. Seems right. We can't stack like more damage onto this Mountain Scryer. And then I don't want to lose our Rockhopper to his Gift Giver.
Behold my work.
So yeah, I think this all looks good. I assume he has to have like some kind of trick where he didn't play any cards in the beginning of the game. He's gonna have like a Fury of the North, or at a bare minimum like a Targon Shield. Something's happening this turn to where he's playing a combat trick, but I think we still find ourselves getting further and further ahead on board. Okay.
My board!
Interesting, he really wants to hang on to this. Or what his Celestial would be, to where the Mountain Scryer is this important.
First light illuminates the land.
Okay.
It gives us strength and guides our hand.
Well, as it stands, like, I'm fine to just send like our Xenotype Researchers kind of cards into Mountain Scryer. I think we just want to keep adding units. I'd rather add a unit and just like trade Earth Elemental as opposed to spending Weight of Judgment on the Sunforger. Like we don't have like the direct answers right now to opponent playing like a giant a giant Celestial, unless we can like Weight of Judgment it down. We can't kill most of the big ones. But with this, it's like he clearly has something. It's not Battle Fury, that's too expensive. It feels like it's probably Fury of the North, and he can only play that on one. If it's Harsh Winds, it's not a big deal. We're okay to just lose the Researchers. I think this is fine. But I want to put the damage onto Leona because I want to try and Merciless Hunter her next turn. Okay. Oh shit, I hit the wrong one. Oops. Alright, we'll make something happen with that. We'll just have to switch our plays around.
I was thinking the same thing, Blue.
We drew a big boy. We can Weight of Judgment Leona. Not too many 5 to 6 cost Celestials that are that bad. He could hit the Obliterate and play it the Mountain Scryer, but let's wait and see how we can dictate this combat. So we want to do this. Probably want to do this.
We'll get our licks in.
Gift Giver is about to give up his life to Malphite. Yeah. And then I think the rest of these are okay.
Is this what you seek?
I will protect you.
Okay. Could have done that better. He could have switched his blockers around so he could have put his 3-4 in front of our 3-2. So he should still have a unit here. Create a landmark. Or Tipped Peak. See if he's got another Targon Shield. Nope. Alright, looks pretty good for the home team. Gigantic invokes, am I right? There's the Fallen Comet. Sure. Looking for dudes. Do we have the mana to play Golden Sister? We got 1, 2, 3, 6, or do we rather just add the Traveler on? Because we just need 2 of these units to hit. Like the Traveler.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
Gotta do a lot of work with this 5 mana here. Goes up to 9. Okay. Get it down. Oop.
May all those who journey find
Continue the travels. Got him. Cool. Cool. Xenotype Researchers have been fantastic. Pretty happy with how these have played out. Let's see what we got here. We never want Imagine Possibilities. Picking up those Rockhopper is the perfect card. The Dustbringer doesn't do anything in our deck. So, perfect, perfect. What up, Silver Mist? It's alright. Zed is kind of scary. We don't have any answers to Zed in our deck other than like getting lucky with a Rockfall path. So we'll have to see how we can manage this one. Playing 4/4s is about as good as our deck will let it be. Okay. Weird spider start. Okay, and I think we're just gonna have to come out here and try to outstat this Zed. He hasn't shown it yet, but
That's new.
maybe we can do that. Zed here would be kind of abysmal. If he has it here, we're really going to struggle this game, and then if he doesn't have it, then I think we're going to be pretty strong. Okay.
What does it mean?
Right, how do we get stats in front of this thing? I think we just gotta get them researchers going. that's our answer to everything.
That's not tamper-proof. Don't touch that.
Gotta take this thing down. Let's go ahead and put a unit in front of it.
Don't touch that.
Maybe we can, the first unit we draw, if we hit one with that's been researched, potentially shut this thing down. So let's try to roll the dice a little bit. Supposed to have the buff. Come on, Blue Sentinel, what's your deal? Okay, if he keeps passing, I'm just gonna pass. He sees like what we're up to. He may just be able to, put like a 6/6 or something down, but I think this is fine. Give us the chance to try and get in front of this stuff. Don't have an answer to Tusk Raider. This Taliyah is technically an answer. Okay, let's go ahead and imagine possibilities. We get Inner Sanctum. What's your countdown? 1. So we got to play both of these in the same turn if we want. It's not really appealing. Okay.
I told you I would beat you here.
You cheated. I want a rematch.
This is okay. Like, if his play here is to Whirling Death, then this thing can't take down Taliyah. Well, we'd just be getting 2 for 1 on him, right? If he's going to Whirling Death or play a combat trick or something here. The big thing is he can't say, like, attack with both of these, we block his spider, and then he Whirling Deaths down Taliyah. Yeah, this is completely fine. I didn't even try to block it with a 4-attack unit, and so, you know, we learn as time goes on.
What do you make of that? I'm not sure.
Two away from leveling up our Earth Elementals.
Odd behavior.
So this attack, like, next turn is a little nasty. So I think we need to get dudes on the board, and we can't count on this Inner Sanctum. He's essentially going to give his whole board +2 attack. I assume he's going to play, I don't know, a House Spider or something, or 2 spiders. He's definitely going to be having a full board full of spiders this turn. Zed is like the least intimidating unit he could have been playing.
They follow the wrong master. We go as one.
Okay, so this is the easy one. Let's try to take this thing down. It's an easy one.
Excuse
Go
us.
here. Do want to get the stats. So yeah, this looks good. Can't save like everything with combat tricks, right? He's going to be losing either Shrieking Spinners or losing Zed or something. No way all of these combats turn out positive for him. Okay. This is a touch awkward. Can Rockhopper next turn. I don't think he's... Is he going to add something here? I think we got to wait and just go ahead and get the Sanctum and the blue buff off of the board. Sure. Much rather see him blow up that... blow up that thing than opposed to just hitting like one of our 6/1s. I think that's pretty good. Our shaping's quite interesting. Might be able to really protect a researcher or an earth elemental here.
What a shame for you! Let's go! Gonna catch the sky!
We're gonna get a really good star shaping, aren't we? Is that for plus attack? Yeah, sure. Do we just want the Scourge? Double check this mana. Yeah. We got the 10 mana. Let's take the 10 mana unit.
My only chance! My board!
But cool. As long as we just don't die this turn, we should be good. Got him. So, okay, as far as the champions go, I'm like good with 2 Malphites. I don't really want 3 Malphites, but if that's how the cards look, then whatever. I'm really just kind of interested in whatever, like, if these other cards look good. Like, I don't want to be playing Imagine Possibilities. I don't really want to be playing Spiral Stairs. I'm kind of interested in this Renekton. We do have a good amount of like early game challenges between our 1 exhaust, our 2 rockhoppers. Could make some usage out of him. We don't have Slay cards, but just winning combats could let us play Bakai. I think that's who we want to take. Like, Unraveled Earth is the card I could never remember the name of. This is very nice with Malphite. I just like don't want 3 copies of Malphite. It's such an expensive card. Like we haven't had these like weird draws where we draw multiple Malphites yet, and our hand just gets too expensive. But we're getting pretty close to that that space. Spiral Stairs, just such an awkward one. It takes so long to actually activate. All right, Renekton, welcome to the team. You're one of the super friends now. But I mean, our early game is still where I feel like we're kind of lacking. I think our late game is a little off. Okay. Weird. Suspect he's playing elites, but I don't how you end up with a set of champions. Like if you start out Lucian Lux and then you just fall back into elites and you're like, I want Garen, because I typically just want Lucian in all my elites decks. It's weird. But with this, again, I want to hang on to the 3-drop. It's going to be catastrophic if we don't have a play in the first 3 turns. And then otherwise, let's try and play on curve.
Track them down.
These the new Prod Month little legends. If you didn't notice, if you go to the store, there's the Prod Month set of cards for 0 coins. So it's like they didn't just directly put them on your account. You have to go and physically buy it. But
Nothing to worry about if you have nothing to hide.
you know, it's a cool way to get some of these non-standard little legends. I don't know. I know little legends is the word for teamfight tactics, but whatevs. All right, this is fine.
Sister.
Surprise! Like I know that we can't rep too much in combat here, but it's really strange to see a deck with Lux in it risking a Mage Seeker Investigator so early. I'm tempted to just like hook her, but we have the ancient preparations into Kahiri here. We already have like Merciless Hunter for a piece of this. Siphoning Strike is kind of interesting. It's a little expensive for this stage of the game. I think I just want this Salt Spire. It was either like take Salt Spire or take nothing.
Our vision for the future has never been clearer. All set.
Nice. I was expecting at least like a block from the Silverwing Diver onto Blue Sentinel. And this is weird. These are all cards from the Lux pool, and he's like, you know, all 3 of these, the Silverwing Diver, Mage Weak Investigator, Mage Seeker Conservator, are Lux cards, but then he's only played 1 copy of Lux. I'm kind of boozled right now. Not fully boozled, not all the way bamboozled, just a little boozled. Alright, let's wait and see what happens. I don't think he ever passes it back to us. Alright, that's kind of scary-ish. Something interactive. Probably need the Falling Comet.
Stars have so much to tell us.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of these attacks aren't any good. That seems nice. Really just shutting down the Bannerman. Is that a big boy? The biggest of boys? Or I feel like this is something we want to do like 2 turns from now. I think I want to get this like Merciless Hunter and the Salt Spire going. So let's add Salt Spire first, just see what he does.
My heart and soul.
Garen, okay. This should be relatively safe now.
Right, Arda?
Then do we want to just kind of like throw away the Clockling? Just to give us some space on our board? Or just do the value attack with the Moondreamer? He probably need the value attack. If he has a Chain Vest or a Radiant Strike, we don't want him picking up. Saving the Investigator. Glad to get that removal spell out of here. All the tools.
There's a chill in the air.
So we'll use the Sunburst. He can't get out of this. Well, I guess they could have the, like, undying, whatever your unit... Well, no, Obliterate still gets out of that as well, so...
They're as good as dead.
You're adorable when you're angry.
This is mercy.
I must be off.
Sure, we'll see how that plays out. Can't try to kill his Lucian and then not block the Senna, just in case something goes wrong here. Getting a spell is fine. We're about to have some big boys on the board. So we've got 10 mana. So we can't like Malphite plus removal spell, but we just drew this huge thing. Okay, so let's start with these. I want to get an attack in and then assume he's going to try and do something cutesy, like try to block our Rock Bear with Senna and then pop Lucian with an Obliterate after the fact. Or would we rather just try and pop Lucian with Weight of Judgment? Makes his Senna stronger. Just going to trade with what she would already trade with anyways. Okay, I'm on point with this. And then if this fails, we can just pass the turn. But if we had to spend like a back-to-back to save his Lucian here, that would be pretty okay for me.
Lucian! Lucian!
Can we attack with all three? We hit with her and Hunter. No, can't attack with Hunter because of the Silverwing Diver. These are still good. These require Senna blocks.
Defend our banner.
Okay. Alright, we're building it up. Board is getting progressively larger. And we do have like the Malphite flip into a removal spell for Senna, so that's nice as well.
A cut above the rest.
There is Malphite. I am Malphite.
Good checked. I can't remember if this Malphite had +3/+3. I'm pretty sure it didn't, but it'd be kind of awkward if it did. No. No. Just cut that shit out. No prismatic barrier, please. Nice.
Fight on!
So you gotta tell him that sometimes. Just get that shit out of here. Nice.
It is a good day to be Malphite.
It's a good day to be Malphite. Preach it, my man. Okay, never trading out the researchers. Oh, we can't trade out any of this. Don't want divergent paths or promising future. Pretty easy set of skips. Okay. So we only got one +3/+3 that game. Feels a lot better when we draw like 3 or 4 of them. But that's pretty good. Okay, here we go. Sand soldiers. Okay. So we do have to keep like some amount of ways to handle this Azir. Sunburst is probably good enough. It's like I really just want to mulligan away all this stuff and look for Xenotype Researchers, but I think a hand like this is okay. We don't have the means to try and be cute with this. Can't put a blue sentinel on top. Just play the curve. Azir, like turn 3, turn 4 Azir isn't super scary. It's like the turn 5, turn 6 one once he's able to like threaten being flipped. So we'll have time for the Sunburst. We can bank up some mana eventually and throw it down.
Sand and blood.
Ready for deployment!
What do you make of that?
Give me them
Not
stats.
sure.
Would you look at this place?
Let's just play it slow here. Doesn't seem like he's really doing too much of the Sand Soldier thing, but I don't think we can really be in a huge hurry.
Will echo through the ages.
We want to just let this last a turn though. So like add Salt Spire. I don't really like this. Let's just pass. I assumed he was gonna get some kind of attack in, and then we just play Rockhopper after the fact. He disagreed. This could be, you know, a little scary, trying to just sunburst down this Azir without having the boost. Let's see. There's no Shurima cards. We would need one of the Demacia cards to survive out of this. Okay, YOLO. We YOLO'd it and he's taken forever, so that should mean it's good, right? He's not just out here deciding if he wants to play back-to-back or riposte. Fuck. Okay. We'll have to try again with the Solari Priestess.
In Shurima's name.
It's not... He shouldn't be flipped until his next attack, so I think probably okay. Okay-ish.
Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Like, I'd rather just be commenting the Screeching Dragon.
Azir's command!
I go!
It's like we have double Salt Spire Malphite as well, so... Not opposed to the way that could see itself working out. Gotta get some of this stuff on the board. We got 10 mana of landmarks in our hand, so we can get it going to a degree. 10 mana, we can still just like Fallen Comets and Salt Spire. Okay. I really just wanted to see this Azir animation, so I was letting it go, playing it slow here.
Sentinels of light don't.
I have risen, and with me.
It's not like he didn't do any of the intimidating stuff that you could do with Azir. Like, we have to get something on board, but I'm just like more interested in playing Fallen Comet on the dragon, and then maybe trying to get Malphite down next turn. This is fine. Open is pretty bad for us. Like 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11.
Your Emperor commands.
This is actually worse than just opening. I guess he can choose to like not attack with Azir now, but
Greater things arise.
taking 14. Okay, hitting the Azir and does get additional damage. This is what I hate, or I absolutely hate about landmarks. Can't do anything for 2 turns. Can't do anything for 3 turns. Can't do anything for 2 turns. We have to get the 2-turners down. Ultimately, the reason I don't like these things is I feel like the times when they're good doesn't make up for the times where it's, you know, turn 8 of the game and we just have a bunch of do-nothings in our hand.
very strong like a mountain, because I am a mountain.
It's heavy. Oh man, we're one short, aren't we? 14. Oh, hang on. This would be exactly 20.
Rock solid.
Like mountain, like hill.
Maybe he just doesn't have any units and we win, right? Uh-oh, that was not the time to play the unit, my man. He's got to play another unit now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You get him? What is this?
The order is given.
Once you think you've got it. That was not a safe way. I guess we were tapped out, but not a safe way to approach that one. We can still get out of this with like a star shaping. Nope. Gonna be dead. Maybe you'll do something weird.
Remember this day.
Justice by my hand.
Not weird enough. Damn, too bad. What a greedy ass way to go about that.
Because I am stubborn.
Okay. So let's see. I don't want the Spring Guardian, but the Star Charts is worth. I mean, I guess we trade a 1.5 for a 2. That's an upgrade in my mind. Okay. So much rock band here. It's got 4. Did we end up with 4? 4 too many. They look like this guy's doing the same thing we did. The double Malphite, get stuck with the Taliyah just to pick up the Shurima landmarks, and then pick up something that isn't Taliyah to round out the rest of the curve. This hand is not good. At least you can't imagine they're going to come out too quickly unless they have like a chip rockhopper start. I don't think we ever want a rockfall path here. It's a little opponent's not just gonna like skip playing units because you played it, but like to have a little bit more knowledge before we just start throwing them down. Let's attack first. Might as well get our rock bears going. We only have 1 copy of Taliyah, so I don't think we're ever gonna go for the copy route.
Arda's gonna make a meal of them.
Okay. Pretty good here.
Wrap them up tight.
Put the vulnerable on and then didn't hook? Wow. Okay. We're not doing ship it adding rock bears, but if I'm not opposed to getting like an exhaust hook with Spring Guardian on this next turn. We can start doing good stuff here. Like this is a pretty good 6 mana between Spring Guardian, Rockfall Path, Exhaust. I have to try and answer this though. I don't know why he just went straight to face with this thing, but we can't just be getting 2 for 1 by this here.
Rocks into motion.
I think we can choose to not worry about Taliyah.
We mustn't linger.
A whole lot of combat tricks they can have here. I think if he had the shaped stone, he would have just snapped it off. Might have a Targon shield, but it's successful a lot. Everybody's rock bears coming to the party. had to stop and think how big Malphite was. I was like, can we sunburst a Malphite? The way that works.
The Emperor commands, the land obeys.
So I'm gonna do this. I don't think we want to just push this rock bear down. Okay. Some amount of stuff's gonna die here. I want to get the rockfall path on the board. I just don't think we're gonna have enough space on our bench to pull off all this stuff.
I'll drag you out of there if I have to.
Okay.
One day they're going to get you back, you know.
Imagine he attacks with something here. And if we just bank the 3 mana and our sunburst, that's also okay. Keep checking this Taliyah to make sure she's nowhere near leveling up, so we're okay in that sense.
Azir's command!
Comes thunder.
Easy now.
We just want to get rid of everything, right? We're just going to add a rockfall path. I think he's going to have some kind of trick here, but then the way we also think need to go about it is adding the path now and then trying to rock hopper Renekton next turn. And make sure we have enough space for all this.
Buys me a new sail.
It'd be nice if we had something to play that like wasn't Renekton, so that we could try and get him with the Roiling Sands. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but it would be nice. Are we gonna go wild again and just let the sunburst happen? There's no sunbursts and playing around combat tricks. Maybe that was why we lost the previous game. I think we need to kind of keep our mana open here. So it's all around fairly awkward.
We stand in the...
You got caught.
Snow on my feet, rain on my head.
It's tapped out this time. That's the difference between that previous game. More than happy to get rid of Nasus here.
Dust.
Kill Taliyah. Hand is pretty weak here. But at least to get to draw an extra card.
Wanna know about that one,
Bask in her radiant blessing.
Right, let's try and get the Malphite going next turn. Yeah, well, we might draw Taliyah.
Cosmos call.
It'd be not ideal, but cool. And we can't get any of this stuff down. Say we could be like really close to lethal if we could get more units on the board.
Ooh, you're my favorite rock.
So it's gonna be like 9.
I am very strong like a mountain because I am
May not be able to add more units here.
only place to go is down.
can't add more units, then we can lethal here. If he can't interact. Guess there's a pretty reasonable chance he could have another stun here. See if our force is stoppable. Ready to slam it down. He didn't just concede, so there's that piece of the puzzle here. I guess he's gonna have another unit or he's gonna have a stun. Not sure if we could beat his unstoppable force. He's pretty far away from flipping his Malphite, though. I'll level up. Have the attack token. Wanted to see if this was like one of these beginning of the round kind of effects and not something that just happens on the level up. Now if I get bored. Four and 1.
Better take
Okay,
cover.
so we're only heading for 12.
Devotion through battle.
Yeah, I mean there's a very real chance that we lose the game next turn. He doesn't have to like draw too perfect. At least he needs to spend like 6 mana on being able to kill us. If he has the 4 mana to flip his Malphite and 2 mana to play Unstoppable Force, and then we get to like follow up with 1 card so we can block Malphite, then he needs like another unit. So I think like we're fairly safe in this sense.
Written in the stars.
Is there ever a punish for that? The big thing to worry about here is him giving something overwhelm. But if he does that attack again, my idea here was to just block the Rock Bear with Malphite. Put the Blue Sentinel in front of the Rock Bear, Malphite in front of the 3/5, and the Solari Priestess in front of his Malphite. I don't think there's any like big super punishes for what he was doing though. Like we should be able to just block Malphite, right? Yeah, there's nothing to give this overwhelm.
Cosmos call.
Okay. We can eat the landmark with our naturalist here as well.
History is whatever.
Looking good, feeling better about this now. We predicted this game.
You cannot hide forever, Nasus.
He's not yellow, so I guess we haven't predicted this game. This should do it. He should only have 1 blocker here. He showed his only invoke to be that meteor shower. Sunburst, sure. Might as well play our unit, right?
Our vision for the future has never been
Is
clearer.
it, I guess it could, in combination with the naturalist, help us win this game. He has like 1 blocker for Malphite. Okay. He has like a Spirit Fire or something, and we're only getting damage in with like Kahiri and White Flame Protector. I guess like something. I could see the world where we want to add this to the board.
Let's go.
Think I see something.
I think that's quite enough, though. We have 14 coming in. Nice. Both looks and feels good.
Day to be Malphite.
All right. On to the next one. So we're never trading out the Researchers or Exhaust. I could see an argument for trading out the Priestess for Sunburst, but I feel like now that we have like Sunburst, Siphoning Strike, Weight of Judgment, along with like the 4 or 5 vulnerables, that we're looking pretty good as far as removals go. So I'm going to hang on to the Priestess. She can, you know, kind of be a removal, kind of be a late game. It's nice having that kind of flex capability. Well, she doesn't flex as good as the Daybreak one that almost assuredly hits either a removal or a unit, but still pretty strong. Okay, so something like this. I really want to just be mulliganing to these Xenotype Researchers. Those games we had the Researchers were all so much easier than all these other games. Dora and Braum with the 2 Trendemirs. I don't think we're in a hurry here. Let's just get the Rock Bear going. Doesn't seem to be threatening a way to get super far ahead on board. Okay. Do we ever want to start banking anything here, or are we just going to play efficiently? Can't imagine he ever just passes.
Always 2 steps ahead.
I can't hand watch in this, but I'm not sure if he ever hits
Need a hand.
the you know where that came from. If you hit like a Trendemir and already had the Fiora, I missed it as far as hand reading goes, but it seems good. We want to save the Rockhopper now that we have Renekton. I don't think so.
If it's made of sand,
It's tough for him to play like more than just a 3/3 here. I'm really not super worried about him like reposting Fiora into one of these combats. I can't imagine this is some kind of OTK deck when he only plays 1 copy of her. Sure. Pretty close to the big elementals.
You got caught.
For the values. Okay.
My board.
So I'm thinking of like adding Rock Bear and Elemental, hooking the Lancer with the Sentinel, and then using that as our means to get the boost to the Elemental. We can't, hook Swiftwing Lancer with Renekton and win, so maybe things change now.
Lastimate buys me a new sail.
I'm starting to wonder if we should worry about Fiora, how this is sequenced out. I don't think we should. He does get a little bit scarier in the sense that once she gets that becomes a 4/3, you can pick on things like Blue Sentinel, but
I go.
let's see if we're gonna get hit with the all harsh winds or something here. Doesn't live in either the Tryndamere or the Braum pool. Doesn't mean they can't have them, but it's super unlikely that they have Harsh Winds in their deck.
Precision
Fury of the
and
North.
grace.
Sure. You don't have a whole lot of ways out of this OTK. the Sunburster and Invoke is the only way that we can take down this Fiora, so might have to start being a little bit careful, but there's a pretty strong way to try and take her down. The Merciless Hunter Renekton. And if he gets, overly clever with these combat tricks, we've got him down to 6. He's just been spending a incredible amount of mana to make sure that Fiora does stuff. So we could just look at it that way. Like, what if we just take a 10 hit from the Great Horn Companion and open kill him next turn? I'm kind of okay with this.
Violence, chaos, and destruction. We fight.
They bleed!
Maybe you shouldn't have ran this out just yet, but I think this is going to be okay. Big thing you're typically worried about here is like dying to a single combat, so he should need like 3 spells to get out of this. Over there. Magic about to happen. Okay.
For the honor of House Laurent, en garde.
Renekton, that kind of sucks. I was hoping to get in an additional point of damage with the Renekton so that if we need one of these, if he frostbites something, we have a couple points as far as an overwhelm is concerned. But
Gonna catch the sky!
let's get him in here.
I go!
But we want this to go last. I want it to be like this.
Woohoo!
He can still win this with like some single combat kind of cards, or if he has some frostbites, that's kind of annoying, but Harsh Winds would do it. Okay. Good game, my friend. Let's cupcake that one. Oop. Okay, get ourselves into that final battle.
Oh dear!
Battle Fury Fiora, I can get behind that. Okay, so let's trade him. So, don't want Salt Spire. Never trading out this Merciless Hunter. I could see trading Kahiri for an Earth Elemental, but we're already like pretty stacked at 4s. I mean, mainly in these landmark-based cards that we don't actually want. So I think we'll let that one go. Rather have a 3 than a Desert Naturalist. Bakai, I could see trading for the White Flame Protector. Just a, removal spell. Okay, and I'm not opposed to trading Star Shaping to Moondreamer. We should probably do this. Well, probably not. We can get rid of Imagine Possibilities for a Pale Cascade. That's just a little bit stronger. Okay, never trading out the Researchers. Kind of like having this Pale Cascade now. It's not a whole lot of combat tricks we have access to. And the Rockfall Path for the Stonebreaker, it's like from a raw power standpoint, the Stonebreaker is much better, but I like having these early game landmarks. Alien Soul. Jeez. That's one way to take it to the late game. I mean, these games have been going pretty deep. Okay. Alright. I can get behind that. Then I can't get behind Aphelios though. So then let's hang on to the Bakai. Well, maybe we should straight out the... If we're going to pick up an Aurelian Soul, picking up a second Sunburst doesn't seem that bad. Especially as we're... Maybe it's just like some recency bias to where we're facing down Fiora, but... I think we can consider ourselves to be a little bit slower. This is like the exact opposite of how I ever want champions to look. I want multiple Zeds and then only one copy of Darius or Riven. But start with the Chip and the Rock Bear. Okay, this is a decent start. Yeah, let's give him a little cupcake, birthday cake at him. All right.
Wow, all this walking.
We can struggle, you know, if he's running out here with he's running out Zed, but he's only playing one copy of Zed, right? And this is weird. This is something like a disruption is where you would like, this would typically be a Yasuo deck, right? With disruption Darius, and then Yasuo out of Ionia. We'll have to see what's actually coming out.
Another thing to climb.
But I mean, I'm fully intent to just continue playing on curve. Book Chip, trade our 1 mana for your 2 mana, works for me.
Remember me.
Yeah.
That's new.
He has Zed here. It's a real pain in the butt, but he's only playing 1 copy.
Odd behavior.
Yeah, well, we should attack. It's weird that he's passing
Sister.
when we were like tapped out like that, but a lot of people are usually waiting to kind of get the gotcha once you've played.
What they cannot see.
Sun's beneath me and winds behind
What's
me.
his name? Like when to get around your Shurima vulnerables, you'll kind of pass for that attack. But that's weird when we didn't have the mana. Anywho, things are moving forward. You don't have the attack buff. That's what we were looking for. You should safely be able to add units. It's tough for him to add something that can get vulnerable and then interact with the Rock Bear favorably. So I think we're just going to flood out the rest of our hand here. He is playing like the Disruption deck. He could be adding reasonably powerful things behind in the sense that he could like plan to stun something, but whatever, get that out of here. Get our aggression on. Should have perhaps thought a little bit more about how we wanted to line these up instead of just spewing them forward. Maybe should have attacked big to little here, but okay. Add a unit, please, so I can get rid of this Roiling Sands. Oh, this is gonna boom his Lifeblade. Darius. Come on, Gap, play Darius. That's pretty close to the same outcome. Man, I know. What do we got? We don't want any of these. Let's just skip this one. Looking for the units with the +3/+3s or Aurelian Souls or Malphites. We're looking for our top end now. This is fairly awkward. I feel like we just want to play Star Shaping here. Like, whatever he does isn't super relevant. I mean, we can just add the big unit. Like, we're probably never going to get a trade out of this, or a activation out of this. I think this is probably fine. big draw on the Weight of Judgment, especially if he's just gonna add a big boy like Darius.
Few earn the right to call themselves Trifarian.
He's gonna attack. We'll get a bigger star shaping than nothing, right? This Glory Seeker just does actual nothing if he doesn't attack with it because it can't block next turn. Uh-oh, you trying to high roll the quick attack? I don't blame you. I mean, you gotta be doing something at this stage of the game. You just gotta say, all right, something has to go right here. How much mana are we gonna be at? 9? So we can take the Great Beyond? Okay. Let's see if that's enough. Right.
I have my orders.
I go!
Still do one of these like barrier lifesteal kind of plays. We'll wait till it seems a little closer before we cupcake it. There we have it. Nice little 7 winner. Didn't even have any +3/+3s, so wild. But cool, yeah. Let's take a moment. We'll get this deck pulled up. Talk about it a little bit more. We didn't get like all of the tools that I wanted, but I think it showcased like quite a bit about the landmarks that I do like and I don't like. And so again, the big things that I really like for this is what we were trying to assemble, what I call the value landmarks kind of deck, to where we don't really want to be playing the likes of Hibernating Rock Bear. We don't want to be playing Saltspire. Just you could see those games to where these were pretty bad. I think if you really want to be taking advantage of these, this is a different deck to where you're trying to play Hibernating Rock Bear on 2, and then you're going to play like the Clock Maker. I don't know, the 2/2 for 2 that reduces countdowns on 3 to start making 5/4s. You have some kind of like fallback with the Naturalist, so you can just eat your landmarks when things aren't going right, and then you're going to try and do some copying with Taliyah. You're going to try and navigate down some Frozen Thralls. Like I think that's a completely different deck here. Like don't misunderstand. Like, hey, I'm just going to throw a bunch of landmarks in a deck and play a bunch of cards that say advance. Like I think these are two separate things, and so that's like deck number 1. We are not playing that deck here. The thing we are trying to assemble here is what I call the value deck, where you're playing Blue Sentinel, you're playing Rockhopper, Rockfall Path. We're looking for Preservariums. We're looking for I want to call it Ruinous Path, but I think that's the other one. But we're looking at Eye of Rahor Rock. We're just not trying to play these landmarks that either don't replace themselves or aren't generated from a unit. So we were pretty successful in that. We got our Malphite flipped most of the time without too much trouble, and so that's usually what I like to chase and what I like running after here. And so kind of keep in your mind those two separate decks that are possibilities here. And so the ways that I look to further take advantage of this, it's kind of I don't like to follow the predicts, although Xenotype Researchers is a fantastic unit. I would play like 5 or 6 of these given the opportunity. Hitting 2 of those was just nasty, and then just picking up a unit immediately was nasty. This is a pretty strong card. It is a bit of a high roll, but extremely strong. But it doesn't need the help of predicts to be good, right? Just a 3/3 for 3 with upside is good enough. And so don't feel like, oh, I've drafted 3 researchers, I have to go and take all the predict cards now. That's not the case whatsoever. So yeah, I don't really like drafting the predict deck either. The thing I do like is this combination of Rockhopper plus Chip. And so then if it's like, well, I'm going to try to get a bunch of Rockhoppers, then you might also find your way into getting the various exhausts as well. So you can find, or I should say the various vulnerables. So you can find your way into Exhaust. You can find your way into Merciless Hunter. You can find your way into Ruthless Predator. and then try to find a way to take advantage of those as well. So you're going to be kind of like a mid-rangey kind of control-y style deck, more mid-rangey than control-y, and then just trying to close out with Malphite. You could see how easy it is to win the game with Malphite once you've managed to get some unstoppable forces on the board. But so yeah, as it stands, the way this runs, as with a lot of decks, I really like to focus on the early game. So again, like Chip, Blue Sentinel, Rockhopper, Rockfall Path. This is your bread and butter. Merciless Hunter if you can find her. And then do make sure that you take some removal spells. I know we do end up repeating that a lot. I find a lot of decks to where they aren't that important. But for the most part, if you're in Targon, you really want to go out of your way to make sure you have one Sunburst. And then once you've gotten your first Sunburst, you can kind of pick and choose from that point forward. But extremely important to have at least one Sunburst, or Siphoning Strike a little bit worse. Siphoning Strike's kind of closer to the mid-range removal like Whirling Deaths and Calling Strikes than it is to Sunburst, but have a little bit of something there. And then I guess the last thing I'll say before I click on the dozens of rewards that I have is that in these Malphite pools, they have this like weird number of invokes. I don't know why Malphite invokes so much. One of you lore masters can let us know why that's a thing, but he does seem to have both of the priestesses, Solari and Lunari, and then it has Star Shaping and Moondreamer. And so we'll have to like wait until Riot posts the card pools to get full confirmation on that. But you got some late game in here, and so don't feel like you have to really dig deep to find a lot of late game cards, because you'll get some of those invokes. And then you can also just do what we did here, where if you end up in this weird spot to where it's like, oh man, I took 3 Moondreamers and 3 Star Shaping and 3 Priestesses, that you could just take less Malphites. Or if you're closer to what we did here, where we had like 1 and 1 on those big invokes, then you can pick up a second or even a third Malphite to fill in your top end. So yeah, not a bad little try. I was expecting this to be more like a 4 to 5 winner instead of a 7, but at the end of the day, we were able to get there. So let's click on this event pass stuff. We got some stuff going on here. Never using this T-Hex. This isn't a cat, but nice to add to the collection. Get some of the prismatic words to protect my pocketbook a little bit. What else do we got? Oh man, a cat-based emote. Gonna have to add that to our repertoire, if you will. Okay, landmarks are pretty quick to click on. Gotta take the unit. This is depressing. I don't think Avarosian Marksman's in Expedition anymore. You can trade into him, but you can't actually pick him. We'll just go ahead and take him here. So maybe when we're out there trying to level up one of our cards to make them stronger in the trial, that he won't be clogging up our potential choices. That's some kind of card back. Getting a platinum chest. I've been doing a bit of Constructed and playing a lot of Lab of Legends, and so I've been leveling my way up through these. Song of the Isles, another card, not an Expedition. But I've been leveling my way up through these event passes, but I saved it all for you all that watch these while we finish off the Expedition trials. And so you're welcome. I think about you every once in a while. So that's the end of those. I think we got a couple loot boxes to click on. What's this? The Dark Horizon reward. Oh, got a common prismatic chest. Taking the unit. Oh man, these are epics. This is a big decision. I think I'm going to go with the Cythria. He's a pretty big time epic, and we lucked into her in the previous trial. We really needed some top end off of a Swiftwing Lancer, and then we last breathed into Cythria. It was pretty fantastic. But that is going to do it for us today. I hope you had a easier climb up to your landmark mountain. You learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.